All right, we're here again with Bill Tackett. So, Bill, let's add some context here. So first, I want to bring things closer to home. Can you talk about the difference in the selection process in Missouri versus on the federal level?
There couldn't be more polar opposite. And you know, in Missouri, we may not be first in a lot of categories, but this is one where we actually are. It's called the Missouri Court Plan, and it's been replicated 20 or 30 times across the country. And what it is, there's a commission that picks 3 people, and this commission is made up of 3 people chosen by the governor, 3 chosen by the Missouri Bar, and then the Chief Justice for the Missouri Supreme Court is on this commission. They go through, sift all the writing examples and the history, come up with 3 people, and then the governor picks from those 3. You don't have all the antics. You don't have the political, what you saw today, all right? People running for president. You don't have all that. And it's done quietly, and it's been highly, highly successful in keeping politics out as much as you can keep politics out of something like this.
So then let's talk about the national level, right? You talked about what we saw today. How different is that? We heard about the Missouri differences, but really just how different is it? What do you see on the national level?
Well, here you have a woman who is highly accomplished, obviously, but she's already been confirmed for the D.C. Court of Appeals. She's been in front of this committee on multiple occasions. There's nothing new here. So it's a dog and pony show because it's political. The votes are there, assuming that she doesn't alienate a Democrat. So it's all for show, and it's unnecessary. The way it's done in Missouri is the opposite of that, where we don't have this.
How important is it for a person who is a judge to keep their demeanor? What are you expecting to see from them as they answer those really difficult and sometimes usually political questions from lawmakers?
The playbook for either party is to have your nominee, first of all, not get flustered, but answer the question, but it can't be too substantive because you can't be commenting on areas where you're going to be writing opinions later. So that's a path a minefield that you kind of walk through as you're answering all these political questions that are being thrown at you. And she actually accomplished that today.
And a lot of the questions that came her way were about decisions and things that have happened in her past. Just how deep do lawmakers dive into someone's past and their opinions that they've seen during these questions?
In Missouri, not at all. On the national level, it's a political show. So they're going to dive or go after anything, whether it's true or not. And every time we have one of these confirmation hearings, we go through this process. Now, the one thing I'll say for the national process, you know, the only time that Noah Klein gets to see a U.S. Supreme Court judge is during these hearings. And there's kind of a do I trust her test, right? And when you see somebody, you can size them up. Robert Bork, back when he was denied. You can look at somebody and make some decisions based on the way they talk, or they, you know, today she brought up the fact she's a mother on top of her Harvard credentials, and she has members of law enforcement in her family. These are all things that you sitting at home, getting ready to go to soccer practice or work at the church or whatever you're doing, can stop, look at, and say, okay, I trust her. The national process does do that.
And just how important is it, I understand this question is broad, but just how important is it for the people of this country to trust the Supreme Court and that they'll make non-biased judgments?
Yeah, and that's been, you know, you want the courts, you don't want them undermined. These are lawyers who take the law, match them up to the facts, and they may have a conservative or a liberal bent on their decision, but they're making decisions, and there are very few of them that are political. You know, this is the public should understand that there's quite a process to become a judge. Then once they're up there, you know, they're going to do their job and do it well, and it's been undermined as of late, and that's unfortunate. You know, we had one Supreme Court judge that went hunting with the vice president, duck hunting, I think. And that doesn't look good. Did that affect it was Scalia, did it affect his opinion? No, right? But it didn't look good, right? Justice Thomas's wife was around during the January 6th insurrection, or at least at the front end of it. Those things don't look good, but did it affect either man's opinion, the one's writing? The answer is no. So you really want to have those things kept to a minimum. Otherwise, the public starts thinking that judicial decisions are purely political, not just conservative or liberal, and that's a really dangerous place.
Moving forward, what do you expect to see happen?
Well, I noticed that Missouri's senator kind of had it handed to him this afternoon in his attempt to derail her. And that's always a political calculation, and they try to play to their base, right? Either side. And in this case, Josh Hawley played to his base and he came up short. So I think the Ted Cruz, Hawley, the highly conservative wing of the party has already taken their shots and come up short. So it should thin out, and we should have a vote confirming her by the end of the week.
And take us through that moment with Senator Hawley. How do you think Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson responded? How do you think she answered the question on really the hot seat, that you could call it?
Yeah, and it's the same with Ted Cruz, who brought in the giant graphics with the whole child pornography issue and the racial issues and the like. She was calm. She answered the questions without getting too far into the weeds. They were explanations that I think a member of the public could hear and understand. They did get a little down in the weeds, I thought. All right, and maybe somebody couldn't follow what they're talking about. But you have to understand, when a senator's up there, he's playing to a base of people that are like-minded. So someone who's not like-minded may look at that and go, what's he doing? That's crazy. So in Josh Hawley's case, he was playing to a base. He just got nicked up a little bit with the rebuttal.
And then similarly on the other side, if you're Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, you're preparing for these hearings, what goes into that?
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation. It doesn't matter which party it is. And again, it's the playbook. You're not going to be flustered no matter how off the wall somebody is. And you can't get too substantive because you're going to have to write opinions, but yet you have to answer the questions. So that's that line that they walk down. Most of them are very well prepared and walk that line very well.
Awesome. Bill Tackett with some analysis. Bill, thank you.